I was deep in darkness for years, until something happened I can't explain. There are things I hesitated to speak about for a long time, not because I lacked words, but because some experiences are not easy to describe in human language. For years, I lived in a state I can only call darkness. Not just physical darkness, but something deeper. Something that slowly wrapped itself around my thoughts, my choices, and my inner peace. At first, I didn't even realize it. It started like curiosity, questions about power, hidden knowledge, and things people normally don't talk about. I thought I was just learning. I thought I was becoming aware of deeper realities. But slowly, that curiosity turned into something heavier. There were nights I felt a strange presence in my room. Silent, yet very real. Not something I could see clearly, but something I could feel. Like I was never truly alone anymore. Sleep became difficult. Peace became rare. My thoughts began to feel like they were no longer fully mine. I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was stress, imagination, overthinking. But deep down, I knew something had shifted. There were moments when I would close my eyes and see things I cannot fully explain. Shadows that moved when nothing else did. Voices that felt like whispers carried from a distance I could not locate. And sometimes, I would wake up with a strange heaviness in my chest, as if I had been somewhere else entirely. I was deep in it for years, and the worst part was not fear. It was normalization. I began to accept what should never be accepted. I stopped questioning things I should have questioned. I was walking in a direction I did not fully understand anymore. But then something happened. Something I still struggle to explain. One night, everything felt different. The atmosphere in my room was unusually still, too still. Even sound felt suspended. I remember lying down, unable to sleep, when suddenly I felt as if the air itself had changed. And then I saw it, not with my physical eyes at first, but inwardly. A depth, like standing at the edge of something vast. I cannot call it a dream because it felt more real than waking life. It was as if I was being shown two realms without fully crossing into either. On one side, there was a weight, a darkness that was not just absence of light, but something alive, consuming, and endless. It felt like separation, like distance from everything pure, everything peaceful, everything holy. And on the other side, I felt something I cannot fully describe. Not just light, but presence. A purity so strong it felt like it was revealing every hidden part of me without judgment, yet without compromise. It wasn't loud. It wasn't forceful, but it was undeniable. And in that moment, I felt something I had not felt in years. Conviction, not fear, but awareness. It was as if I was being shown where my path was leading, and where I could still turn. I cannot say I heard a physical voice, but the message was clear within me. This is not the way you were meant to walk. And just as quickly as it came, it stopped. I was back in my room, still, breathing, awake, but I was not the same. Something inside me had shifted. The darkness I had normalized suddenly felt unbearable. Not because it became stronger, but because I could finally see it for what it was. That experience did not make everything perfect overnight. Change is a process. But from that moment, I began to question everything again. This time with fear of God in my heart and awareness in my spirit. I started turning away from things I once entertained. I started seeking light instead of hidden depths. And slowly, peace began to return. Not instantly, not magically, but gradually, like dawn breaking after a very long night. If I could leave one message from everything I went through, it would be this. There are paths that look like discovery, but lead to destruction. And there are moments when grace interrupts darkness, not to condemn, but to redirect. Because sometimes what saves a person is not strength. It is a warning they finally cannot ignore.